Happy New Year's Eve, South Mississippi. Meteorologist Taylor Graham here, joining you from the newsroom on the last day of 2025, and so far it's been very cold this morning. We started off with temperatures below freezing in the 20s in most locations, but we've got a pretty nice day on tap, all things considered. A lot more sunshine already appearing across the coast, and that sun is going to be sticking around today. Still a little on the cool side with highs in the 50s, but not a bad way to wrap up the end of 2025. And I do want to recap a little bit of what went on this year in terms of the weather. Our hottest day of the year, that was July 29th. We hit a high temperature of 99. If you remember this previous January where we had the snow, the morning following that winter storm, we hit a low of 7 degrees in Gulfport. It was brutally cold that day, and we picked up over 7 inches of snow in many locations. I'll show you in a second, though. We tied the all-time record for snow in Gulfport at the airport at about 7 inches, but some other areas actually picked up 9 to 10 inches of snow based off of some of our reports. The most rainfall that we picked up on a day in Gulfport, that was back in June on the 9th, where we picked up over 3 inches of rain. But if you remember, back in November, it was extremely dry. In fact, we only had a trace of rainfall at the airport. All in all, November was incredibly dry, and we had about a 32-day stretch where we did not pick up any measurable rainfall at the airport. But I think one of the biggest highlights of this past year was that snow that we had this past January. January 21st, we picked up 7 inches of snow in Gulfport at the airport. That was a record. Of course, there were other areas along the coast that picked up more than that. Here's a fun fact. On this day, back in 1963, New Year's Eve, there had also snowed along the coast, and that used to be the standing record of 7 inches. So it seems like New Year's Eve has brought some snow in the past. Not the case this New Year's Eve, but it is certainly cold enough. But I think the snowstorm, that's one of the biggest highlights in terms of the weather this past year. And also of note, and I think everyone can cheer about this, we did not have any tropical systems to deal with here along the Gulf Coast or in South Mississippi. So all in all, not a bad year in terms of the weather. Now this morning, we've seen temperatures in the mid to upper 20s. We're starting to climb up a little bit above freezing at this point. Last we checked in Gulfport, we are at 32. It won't be much longer until we are above freezing. And we do have a beautiful day on tap with high temperatures in the mid to upper 50s. Lots of sunshine continuing throughout our New Year's Eve, and it's not going to be nearly as windy today. I know yesterday it was pretty rough over the water. Today we're looking at a light chop over the sound and offshore, seas at about 1 to 3 feet. UV index moderate. We still are seeing a lot of sunshine, but the sun angle is still fairly low in the sky now that we are in the middle of winter. But all in all, not a bad day to be out over the water. We've passed the low tide this morning. We will be coming up on high tide once we get into the evening. And thanks to this recent cold snap, our water temperature has dropped back down into the mid 50s at this time. So we're topping out in the mid to upper 50s today. This evening, if you're going to be out and about celebrating New Year's Eve, ringing in the New Year's at midnight, it is going to be pretty chilly. By the time we get to midnight, temperatures will likely start to drop into the upper 30s. It's going to be a calm evening for the most part with a clear sky, not too much of a wind. Obviously, with a clear sky, we are not expecting any rain this evening, but it is going to be pretty chilly, so hopefully your outfit is going to be warm if you're going to be staying out and about later this evening. Now, once we get past midnight, temperatures will continue to drop a little bit more. We're not expecting a hard freeze tonight, but some spots may be getting close to freezing even along the coast. Mid-30s are expected, so people, pets, plants will need to be protected. Wouldn't be shocked at all if we had some patchy frost. Does not look like this is going to be a pipe-busting freeze, so that is some good news. Inland areas, you're also likely going to be in the low to mid-30s by early Thursday morning, so pipes not as much of a factor or an issue, but people, pets, plants will need to be protected again overnight tonight. So across the southeast, as far as I can tell, it is incredibly quiet. A pretty nice New Year's Eve shaping up across the Gulf Coast, it looks like. And the reason why, we've got a big area of high pressure that's almost right on top of us. That's giving us tons of sunshine today, and that will lead us into a pretty nice New Year's Day as well. Despite the cold morning, we are likely going to be back into the 60s by tomorrow afternoon. In terms of rain chances over the next several days, not a ton of rain in the forecast. Of course, we're not going to see any rain today, nor will we see any rain on New Year's Day. Next best chance is really Friday evening into Saturday morning. Most of the rain looks like it's going to be moving out of the way by Saturday afternoon, and by Sunday, we're not anticipating any rain at all. So overall, your weekend is looking pretty good for any of your outdoor plans. Again, but by Saturday morning, could see a few showers, and it looks like early next week, rain chances go away once again. We're really going to stay pretty dry Sunday, Monday, and into Tuesday. But the reason why we have a chance of rain this weekend, well, we've got a quick moving low pressure system and a cold front. That's going to be moving just to our north. Ahead of the front, we may have enough moisture for a few showers. This is stopped at about 9:30 on Friday evening. Notice some light rainfall being projected by this particular forecast model. Some of those showers may linger into early Saturday, but I anticipate most of the rain to move out by Saturday afternoon. After the cold front moves through completely, it is going to be turning a little bit cooler by Sunday. Nothing like what we're dealing with this morning, but it is going to be a little bit on the chilly side Sunday morning. Once we get into Sunday afternoon, though, I'll show you shortly, things are going to be pretty mild once again. And by the end of Sunday, we are going to be seeing a lot more sunshine. So not a ton of rain expected over the next several days. I would say less than 1/4 of an inch in many spots. And in fact, I would even go about 1/10 of an inch or even less than that. So this is not really going to be a huge rainmaker, but this is our next best chance of getting a little wet weather here in South Mississippi. It's really just not going to be much, though. As we get into the end of the week, notice how much our temperatures are going to be rising. 64 tomorrow for New Year's Day, Friday, Saturday. There's a decent chance we're going to be hitting the low 70s, which is a good bit above normal, even for this time of the year. And while that cold front moves in on Sunday, really not going to be cooling us down too much. We're still going to be in the upper 60s by Sunday and Monday, and even into Tuesday of next week. Looks like we will be recovering back into the 70s. The overall pattern heading into the first week of January is showing us much warmer than average or normal temperatures, and really looks like we're going to be seeing what we call a ridge of high pressure beginning to build in a little bit more. So that's not only going to be impacting the southeast, but the southern part of the country, even into parts of the northern plains, likely going to be warmer than average compared to our normal temperatures at the beginning of January, which normally during this time of the year, our average high or normal high is in the low 60s, but it seems like we are going to be warmer than that throughout the first week of January. So it is South Mississippi. These cold snaps really don't last very long, and in fact, even today, while it will be on the cool side, not too bad with temperatures in the upper 50s by the afternoon. Your New Year's Eve evening forecast, it is going to be getting chilly. There's a chance we will be close to freezing again tomorrow morning, but that's going to be very short-lived. More sunshine in the forecast for New Year's Day. We will be back into the mid-60s, and then we are aiming for highs in the 70s by Friday and Saturday. There could be a few showers Friday night into Saturday morning. Again, doesn't really look like a ton of rain. And notice there too on our 7-day forecast that our overnight lows are going to be well above freezing at this point. So once we get past these near freezing temperatures tonight, looks like we're in for a pretty mild stretch over the next several days. It's just like this cold weather was a little behind schedule for Christmas this year, but it is going to be chilly this evening for New Year's Eve. And in general, our forecast is looking pretty quiet over the next several days, with the exception of a few showers late Friday evening. Time now is 8:42. We will be having our midday newscast coming up today at 11 o'clock on ABC. If you can't catch that, we will have our afternoon and evening newscasts with meteorologist Aaron Colby. That will be at 4 o'clock and 5 o'clock. So we hope you can join us then to prepare a little bit more for your New Year's Eve. Hopefully everyone has a wonderful and safe New Year's holiday. We will join you back here at WLOX at 11 o'clock for our midday show.